Okay. Excuse me. So a couple things that I want to continue with. So see all this rust? I repainted this, and here's why. The last video, I thought I was grabbing orange, and I was grabbing this dry rust effect. And what that was doing was when it dried really dull because it's more of an effect paint. So as you can see, this is what I use, the Vallejo orange. Very close, so you can see why that mistake was made. So I went back in and I just quickly just livened that up a little bit more so it's like a brighter rust color. So now, oh, another thing is, I didn't realize this, but the chat box was open last time and I was not ready for that. I'm already having a hard time talking and painting at the same time. So to add reading, forget it. So my apologies to those people that made comments and that I wasn't responsive, because I literally didn't even know a chat box was open. So the next phase, next phase is I'm going to start that inking process. And what I use is FW water-based ink. And I'm going to throw a little eyedropper of this in here. Oh man. Oh, I must be running out. There we go. Yeah, I'm using a lot of it. So then I'm going to use a fine brush here, sopping up that ink for the inking. Now, what I'm going to be doing is going around and trying to add a little bit of that comic book flavor to it. So certain areas, this is really however much you want to push this, but the idea is, you know, as in comics, you're tracing things, and I'm not going to go crazy with this, but you're adding little bits of life to it. And I'll actually show you a trick later on for doing hard edges like this. So all I'm doing is just coming in here and thinking to myself, oh, how would you add a little bit of that inking effect in a comic book to it? See, so adding a trace like that, or even like a slight drop shadow to the bolts, those little things will go a long way in selling that look. See how I wasn't talking while doing that, because you really got to concentrate. So I'm going to keep doing some of this inking and not gabbing the whole time. Hang on, let me move that camera. You guys can see this. Now this is where you're really having to stabilize your hand. So as you can see, I'm coming in here in that crack. Moving along there. And again, it's not every part of it, but here and there, you'll begin to make it feel like a comic. Now, also that initial black wash that I had done in some of this, that's why I started adding washes, because trying to make it look like that, like a comic book by hand fully, would have taken forever. So that dark black wash from the first part really helps to give you the mileage without all the labor. You know, one of the things too is in comics, they'll have, you know, hash lines like that. You see that? That really helps to sell a comic book look and feel to it. You know, things like this where, you know, the shadow would be really dark on the underside of the beam. Yeah, I'll just do that. And the reason why I use the FW inks is just they flow better. And if you mess up, again, what's cool about this is because you're using a lot of flat colors, you can always go back in and just make little corrections. Okay, so underside of this light, you just add a little, like that. A little, bam, here and there. I'm trying a different setting for this camera where it's zoomed in 2x. So if this is better for you guys, let me know. Leave a little like or something like that. Okay. Yeah, here and there. Boom. So as you can see, overall, this is really just a little bit will get you a long way in making that feel like a comic book. You know, even stuff like this where the underside of here would be totally black. You know, as if the light's coming top down. See, that helped. Outlining stuff. And that little trick I'll show you. Okay, so I use these micron pens as well. These are really helpful. It's a 005 and a 003. And what you can do is you can take that, for example, I'll take the 005 and I'll come in here. By the way, I'm trying to record these every day when I have a session, a painting session. But yesterday I was busy with my son's Halloween costume for he's going to a Lord of the Rings themed party, and he's going as Gimli. So if you're interested to see what kept me busy yesterday, you can go to my community tab and check out the pictures of some of the costume pieces I was working on. So see how just adding that black frame around that box, again, all these little things come together, and I'd probably stop, you know, with this. You know, maybe get under here. So again, you sop up some of that ink. Get a nice bold black shadow. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now moving on with this door here. Now this is fun. one of the things that I was doing is just doing little like cast shadows. See, so like a little comic book style cast shadow from the rear view mirror. Those little hatches. You can even just go like that little like that. See? Again, if you mess up, don't sweat it. Just go back in with your original base color or highlight color and you're good. And again, that wash helped to frame it onto the door a little bit so it got into the crack, so you're not having to line everything. Okay, we're at 11 minutes right now, so I'm not going to go much more than 20 minutes. Now, some of you might be, you know, wanting me to work on the Magneto, which I will. And I'll actually work on him from the ground up. You'll get to see me do the boring stage, which is flatting him. But these pieces, I felt like were going to be a good piece to explain the technique with, because they're just really, you know, kind of generic pieces. See this shadow? I'm going to get right under there and fill that in underneath. So you're imagining, if you've ever done any comic book inking, you just apply a lot of those same techniques of light and shadow and, you know, where would you shadow with ink? You know, putting a bold black blob underneath of that door. There we go. You know, and then if you wanted to add more noise into the, you know, the sidewalk, you could. Or you could add a crack if you wanted to. Oops, sorry. And then if you wanted to add highlights later on after that, you could totally do that. One of the bases that I painted was for the Hulk, and you can watch the short, but you'll see that I painted his whole base with a bunch of cracks, like he crushed the ground, and a lot of that wasn't even in the original sculpt. I just went in, did it myself. Again, 2 feet, 3 feet away. Got a lot of life to it. Okay. Yeah, a little pink like this. If you look at comic books, they've got all those little scratches and dust and all kinds of little bits of debris, and that really helps to sell this as well. That's looking pretty good to me. I'm happy with that. Yep. And this, honestly, this little piece, it doesn't really need anything. Once it's on Magneto, it'll be fine, or I could add details later if I wanted. So, these are kind of it. One of the last things I'll do, and I'll just show you real fast, Yep, because I got a few minutes, so. To finish the base, what I do is I take a piece of foam board with a piece of fun tack, okay? And I'll smash this on there. Like you might want to think about smashing the like button. Oh man, that was bad. Okay, and so I'm going to take the charcoal gray. And then I'm going to just use the charcoal gray to finish up the base. There you go. Yeah. So that would be a finished piece right there. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to finish up the base on this one. And then I will have those pieces done. And then the next video, I'm going to move on to working on Magneto. He's already primed, ready to go. And we'll continue then. So thanks for watching again. Keep painting, keep gaming.